I'm Karina, a BA2 student from Swiss Hotel Management School, who had just finished my second internship in Ritz-Carlton, Hong Kong, which is a 5-star luxury hotel with top 2 hotel ranking in Hong Kong on TripAdvisor. I worked as an human resources trainee for the past 6 months, which I had experienced a lot from this hotel. I worked in the human resources department for the past 6 months, which I've gained a lot of knowledge of this department, like the duties and the daily job tasks. Every day, we will have different challenges as this department is mainly dealing with people. Every ladies and gentlemen has different problems and different requests. Meanwhile, we need to put away our daily routine work and put them into our first place. We have around 600 ladies and gentlemen, which knowing all of the internal staff from all the departments are really challenging for us. We receive a lot of applications every day and need to deal with all the candidates all over the world, not just permanent staff but also trainees. We need to settle the candidates down for interview and greet them and then let them to fill in the form in order to give them a good first impression of the hotel. We also have to select the wow stories, translate CTQ, which is the commitment of quality sent by the corporate property in America, and design posters for community footprint activities, recruitment, and even compensation and benefits for internal staffs. We hold orientation, which lasts for 3 days per month, to welcome the new joiners and give them a deeper understanding of the hotel. We even have the hotel tour. During the past 6 months, I fulfilled my learning objectives by using the skills I learned in business communication. I use different tone of speech with different people, and during the hotel tour, I need to speak up confidently to introduce the hotel to make sure every ladies and gentlemen understand more of the hotel facilities and opening hours for the new joiners to pick up faster. In my department, I have 2 trainers. One is from learning and training team and the other one is from the general team, which they both have different style of working. Therefore, in order to meet their standards, I need to understand what they want from me by observing and ask more questions using different methods. One is by email and the other one usually by phone or face to face. Both of my internships are not in operational departments. My previous internship is in Mandarin Oriental Hong Kong in the procurement department, and for this time, I work in the Ritz-Carlton Hong Kong in the human resources department. Therefore, I didn't have any experience dealing with the guests. However, I did had lateral service for 6 times per month in both banquet and outlets inside the hotel, which includes the Michelin star restaurant. And I need to memorize the table numbers and do the setup, take orders, and know the flow of the service in order to give the best service to the guests. However, I didn't memorize the menu as every time when I went to different outlets and banquets, they had different menus, but I do study the menus every time before I served. I also observe the guests' unexpressed wishes and needs instead of just asking them by seeing their body language and facial expressions to know what they need. For example, in banquets, some guests drink more wine, so I will pour more wine for them when I saw the glass is almost empty before they request for refillment. Different from back office, operational departments require more physical teamwork, which is easier to build up strong relationships with the teammates. For example, during banquets, 2 people watch 4 tables. One will be refilling the drinks and collecting the finished dishes from the 4 tables, and the other one is responsible for serving the dishes to the 4 tables. Meanwhile, in F&B outlets, 2 people are responsible for one section, which contains around 40 tables, which required really good communication skills and great teamwork to fulfill all the wishes and needs from the guests. And we also need to handle all the issues bring up by the guests, like they are not really satisfied with the food, and even they broke some plates. Therefore, we need to handle it without affecting the other guests by recommending other alternatives and serve them complimentarily, and pick up the broken plates immediately to avoid the guests getting hurt. I didn't really deal with the suppliers and sponsors. Instead, I deal with the organizers and ladies and gentlemen in Ritz-Carlton Hong Kong more. For example, during the UNICEF run, we need to encourage a certain amount of ladies and gentlemen to represent our company and donate some money for helping the poor children in South Africa. And we also promote the events to ensure the employees actively participate. We also help them to create the sense to help people, not just the poor, but also all the people around the world instead of just working. Last but not the least, as I need to deal with people more than things, I talk with different people from different departments in our hotel, and also the candidates interviewing for a job in Ritz-Carlton Hong Kong, and also the guests staying with us and dine in Ritz-Carlton. From this, I understand more about what they need and what we can do better in order to strive for improvement for the sake of the Marriott brand. I also expand my network as we have a lot of trainees from different nationalities, universities, to understand more about their cultures and background. As mentioned before, this was the first time for me to serve the guests during lateral services in different F&B outlets. For example, Cafe 103, Ozone, Tosca, the Michelin one-star Italian restaurant, Tenong Hin, the Michelin two-star Chinese restaurant, and banquets. Once there was a wedding of the daughter of the Thames Group boss in our Diamond Ballroom in December, which there was a lot of media came to report this event. They even invite famous MC and singer to come to their wedding, which the scene was a bit out of control, as the guests were too excited and children were running around, and all the guests stood up and squeezed to the front of the stage. One of the guests stood up and grabbing his glass of red wine, and two children crashed on that guest, so the red wine was poured onto his suit. I immediately assist the guest by offering the laundry service to wash his blazer. However, the guest needs to go to the conference early in the morning the next day, and he needs a new pair of pants. As at Ritz-Carlton Hong Kong, applying service value number 6, which is I own an immediately resolve guest problem, is really important for us. I bought the blazer to the laundry, and luckily it was washable, and did the dry cleaning service for the guest before giving him back. I also contact the concierge for further assistance, which was to contact with the suit shops they knew, as all the suit shops were closed at that time. The boss of the suit shop nearby a hotel opened just for the guests, as the concierge always introduced him guests to this shop, and he also understands how urgent the situation is. The guest tried the pants after the wedding end, and he was super satisfied with our service and really appreciate what we have done for him, as he didn't expect we can do that much for him. After that night, he even wrote a thank you email to us to appreciate what we have done that night, and I really feel very happy as someone recognized what I have done for them, and it's not just internal employees but also external guests. And also his partner on the wedding night, she was talking with her friends while taking the pictures on the staircases, and she dropped a small part of the perfume set on the staircases, and she couldn't find it because the light is a bit dim also, and she asked me to find it for her. during her toilet break, and luckily, although I used some time, but I still can find it for her. So after her toilet break, she asked me whether I can find it for her or not, and I showed her the small part of the perfume set. She was so surprised and looked at my name tag and said, "I'm so fabulous and I'm like a diamond" on that night. So I was very happy that someone can really recognize me like this.